welcome you on this platform, and of course, welcome you to Instagram. For
Thank
everybody
you.
who doesn't know this, Dr. Trupti wasn't on social media until today and
No,
until
I was
now.
on
So
social
please,
media. I was not on Instagram.
no, not on Instagram, not on Instagram. So welcome to the world of Instagram, and thank you for doing this for us. I'd like, for you to give us a little bit of introduction to the world of infectious diseases, how you got interested in it, and where we are at today.
Okay. So, infectious diseases is a specialty in internal medicine that deals with as infectious diseases. But it was an upcoming branch until a few years ago because it wasn't
Sure,
a specialty by itself. But I think with
sure.
increasing awareness of health and health related issues, people do realize that infectious diseases plays a very major role in health, not just when they are healthy, but also in the hospitals, like hospital acquired infections or when you have diabetes.
Right,
Um,
right.
so, so infectious disease is something that I did after my training in internal medicine, and I did my fellowships in the US, and I returned in 2016, maybe just in time to not see what's
Just
happening
in
in the
time,
US
yeah.
now.
Yes, absolutely. So good for us that we have you here. So let's just get right into it. Let's talk about Corona facts, and if there are any myths that you would like to address, maybe false or positive or true. So any
So
Corona myths that are going around?
yeah, so the most important thing is to understand the main thing about how it spreads, so that then you don't fall prey to a lot of other myths. Okay,
Sure.
so it's a respiratory disease, which means that you will only acquire it from the respiratory secretions of the person who is infected, which is cough,
Sure.
cold, or a runny nose.
Yeah.
And the virus only gets its entry through mucosal membrane, so which is eyes, nose, and mouth, which means it
Okay.
doesn't gain its entry through intact skin. So if I touch something with this hand, it's not that the virus is going to enter through the hand. Okay, so
Sure.
it's only when I touch
Sure.
this hand to my face that I will get entry. So that's important. And then we need to understand that at this point in time, we really don't have anything specific in terms of prevention or treatment. When I say specific, it's like there is no specific vaccine or there is no specific cure for this disease. Okay, all that we are doing, all the social distancing and hand hygiene and cough etiquettes is something that is in general required as a basic hygiene practice for all respiratory diseases. It's just that
Sure.
it's gaining its importance now because we are just dealing with this pandemic. So
Absolutely.
if we understand this, then we know that we don't fall prey to a lot of myths, like will eating chicken or eggs cause transmission of the disease, or what
Correct.
if I get food delivered to my house? Does it have coronavirus in the food, and am I going to get the virus? So food doesn't transmit coronavirus. We need to understand that,
Okay.
whether it's water or whether it's veggies that we get home, as long as
Yeah.
everything is well cleaned and everything is hygienic, it doesn't transmit coronavirus by just eating it. The
Sure.
other things that's actually doing rounds is a lot of home remedies, like, and this is something which is really commonly asked to me, is if I do steam inhalations twice a day, or if I gargle
Hmm.
twice a day, or if
Yeah.
I put
Yeah.
coconut oil in my nose, will that prevent coronavirus? And the answer to that is no. There isn't, like, see, if you're doing
Sure.
steam inhalation and gargles because it anyway gives you relief from something, go ahead and do it. But if someone is doing it with the belief that they're going to prevent coronavirus by doing that, don't think you will get away by just doing coconut
Sure.
oil drops and all that. So those are two important myths. The third myth that people do have, which is about animals spreading the virus, especially pet owners who are afraid that they
Correct.
might they might pick up the coronavirus from outside or from someone who's sick. And
Sure.
there have been thousands and thousands of animals who have been evaluated, and there is no transmission of coronavirus from human to animal or animal to human. So
Okay.
you really don't. I mean, if someone is ill and when you come back from the outside with your after a walk or something, definitely clean your pet. but that's not because you're afraid that the pet has coronavirus.
Correct, correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was, some news in the middle where people had abandoned their pets because they felt like they were the ones, passing and contracting the virus. So it's great that you address that. Anything else that we should be mindful of?
Um, the other thing that I really think is going to be more and more important is as we get closer to the end of lockdown. Right now
Sure.
everyone is locked down and they really understand what social distancing is. They aren't really meeting people outside. Okay, but
Right.
but we all need to understand that the end of lockdown is not the end of COVID-19.
Good. Yeah.
COVID-19 is here to stay with us for a few months, maybe longer. Maybe it will just stay with us forever. We don't know. So
Sure.
the end of lockdown doesn't mean the end of social distancing and all the hygiene practices. In fact, we
Sure.
all know you the most relevant information at this point. What is really overflooding our social media inboxes is a lot of news about vaccines or some drug trials or things
Correct.
that
Correct.
were tried and seem to be successful. Honestly speaking, um, it's irrelevant to common man right now. You know,
Okay.
these vaccine trials and
Yeah.
these drug trials, something for the medical fraternity to understand what is it that's being researched, what is it
Yeah.
that's going to
And
be
it's
helpful.
also sure. And it's also for the
We don't
future,
want
I
people
think.
to, yeah, it's the future. I mean, there will be some things that will be tried as and when required, but the sad part is that a lot of people are self-medicating just based on these forwards. I
Correct.
personally know a lot of people who started taking hydroxychloroquine just because they thought that it
Yes.
was all there. And honestly speaking, there is just no proof of a preventive role of hydroxychloroquine. Unfortunately, we did lose a few people because they had cardiac toxicity with the drug. So the most important thing is just based on what you read. It's okay if that's something you find very interesting, read it,
Sure.
and that's it. Don't self-medicate yourself.
Okay. So that's good for our viewers to know because I think a
Yeah.
lot of people, like I said, are getting so much information and they want to stock up on things as well. Like people are now buying hydroxychloroquine and going out there and like looking for it and stocking up on it. So which is not the need of the hour. What the need of the hour is to stay home, stay put, and just make sure that you're following all sanitation and sanitary protocol. So what is the expanse? So according to you, how long do you think it will take for us to get back to normalcy?
I think what's going to be get back to normalcy is a new normalcy. You know,
Yeah,
things that
yeah,
so the silver lining to this entire epidemic is that in general our hygiene practices have gone several steps up. Okay,
absolutely,
you will
absolutely.
now everyone knows that they're not supposed to cough just like that. Everyone knows they're supposed to cough in their hands or their elbows or in a tissue. Everyone
Yeah,
knows once you get back home
yeah,
you really need to wash your hands. So that's going to be a new normal. The other thing that is really going to be a new normal is social distancing, um, where we love in general, we are humans, we love meeting people and we love meeting.
together, yeah.
Yeah. So for the next few months, that is something we are going to dissuade people from doing. So
Right,
the other thing that might change for a lot of offices is the number of people in the office at a given time.
absolutely.
Maybe they will be staggered at their workplace. Maybe there will be shifts or people who work from home. So depending on each sector and everyone's setup, there will be a new normal. It'll just become
Right.
normal for a few weeks. But it's definitely not going to go back to what it was pre-lockdown.
Okay. Absolutely. So what are, the kind of like we spoke about people talking about home remedies. Now, are there any actual home remedies that people can do to boost their immunity?
There are certain things that people should, in general, do to keep their immunities up to the mark, which is good sleep, very good nutrition, a balanced diet, especially during periods of lockdown where your physical activity is at its
Sure.
lowest, probably. Uh, don't eat too many fatty foods or fried foods. We definitely don't. Make sure you're having enough fruits and vegetables because that's where you'll get your vitamins from. Uh, you Everyone has to do some physical activity in whatever form, whether it's just doing skipping at home or if you have access to a balcony or a terrace, or a ground where you don't
Sure.
meet people, doing some aerobic exercises for 20 to 30 minutes.
Correct.
Just take the stairs. If you live in a building, just go up and down the stairs.
Sorry, I lost your audio there.
Balanced diet. Okay.
Sure.
uh, we know that there are few specific things that really help immunity, and that's vitamin C and zinc. Though you really don't
Sure.
need to take supplements, but vitamin C is present in a lot of things. The only things that we always think of is sour things, because we think they are the only
Yeah.
thing uh,
Yeah.
with vitamin C. But even broccoli, cauliflower, cabbages, carrots, even these are very rich in vitamin C. Amla. So that's there. Legumes, dal, meat, these are good sources of both zinc and protein. And even though you can't
Sure.
get vegetables, legumes are easy. Dal is always there. So make sure you're having at least two helpings of dal every day. Keep
Okay.
yourself very
Great.
well hydrated, because it's already getting really warm. So that's one
Yeah.
very important thing, that dehydration does cause a real decrease in immunity. So keep yourselves very well hydrated.
Okay, one question that one of our viewers had before the show was does the heat in the environment actually make a difference to the virus and how we contract it? So they're saying that some warmer countries will not be as affected as colder countries and things like that. So does the temperature make any of a
We
difference
don't know. We
to?
don't know. This is a virus that we're all
Okay,
seeing for the first time. So it's
sure,
only after we've seen all seasons and the behavior of viruses in all seasons, then we will know how
correct.
does the virus does change with the season. At this point in time, other than the things, social distancing, good healthcare and testing, there is nothing else that is proven to work. So we shouldn't
Okay.
rely on any of the other things that we keep hearing, because that will just make us more complacent.
Sure, sure.
Yeah.
Fair enough. I think it's very important for us to know how to filter information, which is what we are also getting from you today. But what about people with underlying issues? So, people with heart diseases, people with respiratory diseases, also pregnant women. So,
Yeah.
how do they kind of combat the virus and keep themselves and healthy and go about their lives?
So, people who are above 60 and have an underlying disease like either kidney disease or heart disease or a lung disease are people who are more susceptible to getting a complicated infection. Not just more susceptible to getting an infection. The other people might get away with a mild infection, but these are people who might get a complicated infection, which means that homes where you have senior citizens should be extra careful. Even after the lockdown is over, we will be advising senior citizens not to step out unless
Sure.
absolutely needed. Even the other people who live at home will need to take care of really
Yeah,
socially distancing themselves from them, keeping the hygiene precautions around them very high. But
sure.
also understanding that if these high risk people do get a sign or a symptom, just keep your threshold of going to a doctor very low. So contact your doctor maybe on day one or day two, rather than wait for 4 or 5 days to see how your illness is behaving. So get in touch with a healthcare worker or your doctor or your physician or a hospital earlier rather than later.
Okay. And so, what are the kind of steps to take when somebody feels that they're not feeling well?
So we need to understand that around 80% of the individuals who get COVID 19 are going to have a mild flu like illness. So, just a cold
Okay.
cough fever, which will just improve by itself without doing anything very specific. Like how we all recover from a flu illness at home. So, you just take some rest, take a paracetamol, uh, good hydration, good nutrition, and they will recover. And that's something that's also going to happen with 80% of the individuals who get a COVID 19. So if someone does get a cold cough fever, the most important thing is don't panic. If it's mild, just be at home. isolate yourself at home. This is the time where you really don't want to give that infection to the others at home. So
Absolutely.
if there's a possibility of being in a separate room and a separate bathroom or a restroom, that's ideal. The high touch surfaces at home in general should be disinfected every day, but
Okay.
in this specific room where this person is going to pee, the person himself or herself should disinfect the high touch surface areas. And it'll take around 4 or 5 days for the person to recover. At this point, they aren't testing every mild case for COVID 19. So,
Okay.
even though it might be a flu or it might be a COVID 19 or it could be any other viral illness, it's not that you will
Sure.
know what you have in the mild case scenario. But if you are in the high risk category, then definitely call your healthcare, your doctor, physician, GP, whoever you usually contact. Don't go to their clinics. We don't want clinics or hospitals to get overcrowded with people, because that's a source of a very good hotspot for infection for everyone else. So call them
Sure.
up over the phone or text them and they will tell you what's the next thing to be done. But don't self medicate.
Okay, my next question was going to be, what are the common ways of corona entering your house? So, it's not just, so you said it's not through food. If you cook the food well enough and, if you, um, get it from a sanitized source. Well, what are the other ways that corona can
The
kind of enter
only
your home?
place uh, through which the corona will enter is a human being.
Okay,
Okay, so we only need to make sure that everyone who enters the house has very good hand hygiene practices, has been wearing a mask when he or she was outside. If they have a cold or cough at home, just wear a mask at home. Uh,
okay,
Disinfect all high touch surfaces, and that should be a common practice. So, high touch surfaces are doorknobs, remote controls, switchboards, tabletops.
sure,
Disinfect those.
sure.
And after work, make sure everything goes into the washing immediately. And then, I mean, that's the maximum that we can do.
That's the maximum that we
Yeah,
can do.
yeah.
Sure. Okay, so now we're going to take a few questions from our viewers. So if you have any questions, please do send them across. I'm going to ask you a few more. Sorry, I'm just going to open up the questions. What are the different ways we can wash? Okay, so washing your hands is one. So what are the different ways we can sanitize? So washing your hands is one. Any other way of sanitizing?
Soap and water is the best. Let's remember that
Okay.
for it. Okay. If there is no soap and water available, the hand sanitizers, all of them which are available in the market, are all good enough.
Okay. To end with that note, thank you so much, Trupti, for being here, doctor, and also for, educating our viewers on everything that is COVID related. We hope everybody is safe and, any parting views that you have for people or a last note that you want to give everybody.
I just want to tell people that even in the next 2 weeks, please plan how you're going to change things in your work and your offices and workplaces post
Sure.
lockdown, because that is what is going to decide how well we are all able to collectively combat this together. The lockdown is easy. Everything, the real challenge will be post lockdown. So be careful. Just think that everyone around you has COVID, and then you will automatically know what you need to do.
Absolutely. I
Yeah.
think that's the best way to think about it, that,
Yeah.
think of everybody as infected outside of your home, of
Yeah.
course, and you'll
And
be
yourself
more
also.
cautious.
So they say
Yeah.
that when you step out, and this is something that is also told to us, is they say that when you step out, just think that you're infected, and then do
Okay.
everything that you would do based on you're infected. So then you'll be so extra
Sure.
careful of not coughing and being good with hand hygiene. So, and I think this is going to help us not just prevent COVID, but a lot of other diseases also.
Yes, yes, absolutely. And I think the wellness world in general is going to change a lot in India as well. I think people's eating habits are going to change. The way they, take care of themselves is going to change. Also, offices, I think corporate healthcare is going to be of a major highlight also in the coming years. People are going to take it more seriously than
And I
just a
think
check in the
lockdown has really helped us all value life in the most basic
in general.
ways. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So I think we are going to do
Absolutely.
basic things much, much more than before.
Absolutely. Also engaging with your families. I think it's been so much more. We are all in close proximity now. You can't run away from each other. So we're enjoying time with each other. Thank you so
Good,
much
good,
again,
good.
Trupti,
Take
for
care.
being
Stay
here.
home. Be safe.
Yeah,
Yeah, bye.
absolutely. Thank you. Thank you. Bye. See you. If you guys have any other questions, please put down your questions for us and we'd be happy to answer them with Dr. Trupti. And see you guys next time. See you, Doctor. Bye.